As you all know, managing your stage is very important when doing a speech in a physical meeting. And controlling your screen is equally important when you're doing an online speech. The resource person today is an English language lecturer at Noble Vision Institute, the past president of CNI Toastmasters Club, winner of Speech Evaluation Contest Division F for year 2018 and 2019, and the first runner-up of International Speech Contest Online 2020 of Division F. Please welcome Toastmaster Chamin Athauda. Toastmaster Chamin, over to you.
Conquer your screen. Forget about conquering the screen. At least if we can get a better understanding about using the screen effectively or little bit more effectively, I think if I can do that today, then I will be satisfied. A great evening to all the members who have joined Kaduwela Toastmasters Club meeting, and thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster, my dear friend Hemakant. Before we are going to start the session, I have a request. I can see a few faces, smiling faces. I can see Mr. President, Hemakant, Chaitri. Now I can start to see more faces now. I think you got the point, what I was about to say. All right, please turn on the cameras if it is possible, because rather than speaking to names I can see, I prefer to speak to some of the faces so that I know that who is falling asleep, who is using their mobile phones, who is feeling hungry. All right, thank you very much. Thanks for turning on the cameras. The title of the presentation said conquering the screen, but like I said, forget about conquering part, but what if we can use the screen, the online platform we use little bit more effectively? Because the point is we have been using, or we have been conducting online meetings for a long time now. But what if I told you we cannot be that much satisfied about the standard we maintain, sometimes we maintain, when we present a report, when we speak. So let's see some of the techniques we can use to add little bit more color to our presentations when we deliver them online. So on top of Kaduwela Toastmasters, there are CEB Toastmasters as well, and Iron Lady of District 82, Madam Munawara is here, and the immediate past president, Toastmaster Claude. A lot of non-faces are there, and one of the area directors. Where is she? I just saw her. So a lot of known faces are there. And here, the segment we are going to conduct has got two main areas. The first is when we deliver a report, when we are a role player, or let's say a role player, or maybe a table topic speaker, and you decide to perform while you're seated position. When we are presenting our reports or speaking to the audience, what are the things we can use, some of the techniques we can use? And the other thing is, especially when we deliver a prepared speech, and if you want to deliver it while you are standing, when you want to use standing position, what kind of techniques can we use? So we can check some of the techniques used by last two world champions of public speaking, Mike Carr and Verity Price. Right, the first thing, let's say now I'm talking and I'm seated. So here, the first thing we need to understand the main difference between a virtual platform and a real audience. Think about you are in front of a real audience, actual audience. You are on the stage. So what we do when we deliver, when we talk to the audience, we just look at them. Maybe on my right hand side, there are some people. So I look at them. Then I have got some people like in the middle, center, and then on the left side as well. So what we do there, we look at them. We just turn our body entirely and just look at them, or at least we just turn our head and just look at them. But here, when we conduct a session virtually in an online platform, we need to look at the camera directly to maintain eye contact. Sometimes we feel like we are talking to ourselves, like I'm feeling right now. I'm just looking at my screen, my video as well. So the main difference is, my dear friends, in the virtual platform, if you want to maintain the eye contact, the best way is, or the one and only way is, to just look at the camera directly. Now, those who are looking at me right now or seen my video, you can feel like I'm looking at you right now. But if I look at my own image, now, I think you feel like I'm looking away, because now I'm looking at my video. Haven't we seen this sometimes? When some of the speakers speak, let me spotlight myself. When some speakers speak, haven't we seen like they just look at the screen and the video, then sometimes they just look away. So the first tip is, my dear friends, pretty basic one. When you are presenting a report, when you are delivering a speech, when you want to look at the audience, please directly look at the camera. This is a bit difficult when we use a mobile phone, because the webcam is not, the camera is not that visible. And the other thing is the distance. Now see here, if I come very close to the screen and I talk, can you all see my hands properly, or you can see my fingertips only?
Only fingertips.
Yes, the reason is I'm too closer to the screen. When I'm too close to the screen, where is the part? Still, my hands are coming onto the screen. Where is the part? Non-verbal communication. Maybe we don't need to do this when we are having a conference with non-Toastmasters. But if we are conducting a session on public speaking, and if it is related to communication, I think it is better to use our hand gestures as well. So how do we do that? We can just maintain the right distance between us and the device. Maybe it is 3 feet or 2.5 feet. So see here, when I maintain the right decent distance, I can bring my hands to the screen, to the frame. So what is the advantage? We can use our hand gestures. For an example, let's say when you want to emphasize something. I talked to her 2 times. See here, another technique is, we need to bring our hand towards the screen. Because if I do like this, I don't think it is that visible. Let's see this from those 2 champions. I have got some pictures, we'll share them with you so we can see this clearly. So we can bring the hand closer towards the device. 5 P's are there when it comes to voice. Then we can count as well. We can say pitch, power, pause, pace, pronunciation. 5 things are there. Just like that, small things, maintaining the right distance. So next time, my dear friends, if you select seated position, and if you still want to use non-verbal communication, especially hand gestures, please maintain the right distance. And the next thing is right angle. Because sometimes our device is little lower to our eye level. So then we feel like the speaker is looking down. But it is better to keep it at our eye level. Then it is more comfortable for us to maintain the right posture as well. So that's another technique. And the next is the light level. better to keep the light, or better to position yourself in a way the light is coming from the front. So it just brightens up your face. If the light is coming behind you, then it will just kind of your shadow will be on your face. So that's another thing. I'm not sure whether you are aware of this. There is an option called, if you go to the video settings here, video settings, you can see an option called adjust for low light. Adjust for low light under the video settings. And if you put it into manual, then you can increase and decrease like I'm doing right now. The same light level, same lighting in the room, but I can control it by selecting the option adjust for low light. That's another thing, technique or option we can select to increase the light level. Right. So these are the things. These are the things we can use when you are seated and delivering, let's say, presenting a report or delivering a speech or table topics. Right. Then we come to the adding more color part. So I don't think when we are delivering a speech in front of your work colleagues or teammates in your organization, maybe you don't need to add that much color. But remember, we are in Toastmasters meetings. And we are talking about adding more color to the presentations. Then we are talking about using some beautiful words, terms. Then let us learn some techniques we can use when we deliver a speech, because humorous speech contest is coming. And after that, the evaluation contest is also there. International speech contest is also coming. So better to be ready. Let's take a look at those two champions and learn some of the techniques. After that, I will position it over there and I will be using standing position and explain some of the techniques they were using and also I used in one of my previous speeches. And please disturb me at any time. If you have any questions, please raise your hand or just unmute your microphone, ask the question, not a problem at all. Please bear with me until I open my presentation. Right. Let's learn from the champions, especially if you can remember the first online contest, a world championship of public speaking. The first contest happened last year. And at that time, we did not have that much understanding about the techniques we can use for our online speeches. But I personally learned a lot from this gentleman, Mike Carr. Firstly, let's take a look at some of the movements or different positions he used. And after that, let's have a chat. So this is one, another. What's the main difference you see here than the, like when you think about the distance? What is the technique do you think he's using here? Is he too closer to the camera or any answers?
Closer. He is closer to the camera and he's trying to emphasize something.
Yes, good point. So this is one main technique we can use in any speech. I will explain it later. And here is another position, another one. Right. And using the prop as well. So let me quickly go back to the first one. Now this is how he started. This is the starting position, if I'm not mistaken. Like when if you are a person who watched all other speeches, including semifinals and final speeches, we don't see anyone else using the screen this effectively. It was like a movie. Now delivering a speech in front of a real audience, and now what we are doing, this is kind of acting. Please understand the difference. The moment we understand that, we will start to know about some more techniques that we can use. That's what he has done. So starting position, then here he's just trying to open a door. He's saying, I was just, Sheriff was opening the metal door really hard. So see, he only like half of his body is visible, but there was a purpose. And then here what he does, like someone precisely mentioned, he's coming closer to the screen, right? I also used that technique, but at that time, I think I had not seen this. But before that, at my area contest, I used it and it worked well, I guess. And after that, I saw this. And that means that was kind of a technique most of the speakers have been using. And here he has positioned himself on his left side, but closer to the screen. Here the difference is, again, he is on his left side, but away from the screen. Please just have an idea about these different positions. Now he is at the center, but he has just kind of expanded his hands. Most of the hands like within the frame. But see the angle here. We can't see this like, since we are seeing this from a camera, we can see this beautiful angle. And here, again, I think he was just saying that someone was a friend of him or one of the teachers just trying to propel him. And do you remember the technique I told you earlier? When we are using hand gestures, I asked you to just bring closer to the screen. When you're using the props, we can do the same. Because let's say I'm using a prop. If I show it like this, if I told you, this has become the best friend of human being. Some of you will see it, some of you will not. But what if I bring it closer to the camera and told you, this has become the best friend of mankind? Please think about it. When you use a prop, to make it more visible, you can bring it closer to the screen. That is 2020 World Champion. And let's see what we can see from the 2021 World Champion. What's the name of the World Champion of Public Speaking 2021?
Verity Prize.
Verity Prize. Who was that? Who gave that answer?
Me.
Who was it?
Prishika Prince.
Prishika, right? Right. Let
Yes.
us give her a virtual round of applause. Right. Yes. Verity Prize. And let's see what we can learn from her presentation. Right. Now, mainly, I personally believe that this sort of gestures are not that common when we deliver speeches in front of real audiences, because we go a little bigger. But here what she has done, she wanted to make her both of her hands visible and inside the frame, within the frame. Now this is for the first time I'm seeing this technique. Now see here, she's just looking away from the camera and still not towards the center, even away from the center. This was not that prominent or common in last year's contest. But now she has, I'm pretty sure in the future contests, a lot of speakers will be using gestures movement similar to this. And see here, like my car, now she has positioned herself towards her right side, and I think she's like opening a door. That kind of gesture is there. Now here she's talking about one of her rich friends, like a friend who is living a perfect life. Again, not towards the center, but towards her left side. She has positioned now somewhere here, she positioned her friend, rich friend. Now she's looking away from the camera purposely. Why? Because she's just talking to her friend. And you should watch this speech. This part is really funny. It's a really funny part. She's just she's having a conversation with her friend. And now she is opening the fridge door. Now see here, she positioned fridge behind her. She's also using a prop. Again, she's making more visible by just like bringing a little closer to the screen. Right. Now what I'm going to do, let me quickly put my laptop over there, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit of these positions because I think once we explain them, it will be even clearer for the audience. So please bear with me 1 minute. Right. Hope I'm visible and audible. Can someone confirm?
Yes.
All right, excellent. If number of people who have turned off the cameras is high, that means I'm doing a pretty good job. My presentation has become really boring. All right, so here we go. Now, when we are in front of a real audience, let's say I'm on the stage now. Imagine, picture yourself on the stage. So how do we move? We move towards our right and face the audience. We move towards our left and then we face the audience. So these were the movements I used in my last year 2019 area division contest speeches, because those were the techniques we knew. But after watching Mike Carr's speech, surprisingly, we got to know that more than this direction, like more than moving parallel to the screen device, now he introduced different sort of movement, like half curved one. Now see here, he was using this kind of position. Now see, I'm still looking at the camera, right? And when I want to come towards left, I'm just coming like this. Earlier we used like we walked parallel to the screen, but here, now this is the center, this is my right side. Yes, when we are on the actual stage, we don't use like, we don't tilt like this, we don't turn our body like this. But remember, I told you at the beginning, we need to know the difference between acting in front of a camera, speaking to a camera, and speaking to a real audience. So please practice it after my presentation. When you get a time, when you are practicing your next speech, please see whether you can incorporate this movement. And the other is, like we saw, getting closer to the screen. So in my speech, last year's speech, there was a part, little bit humorous line. In my speech, I say that life is like a movie. We play different roles, different parts, but we need to play our part well, because in life, no retakes. There, I wanted to add little humor. So I was talking like this, and then I came close to the screen. I said, when you are playing your part in front of your wife, make sure to be careful. Otherwise, it will be the end of your movie. So just like that, I came closer to the screen. Then, like, I'm getting closer to my audience, and I lower my volume, say that part. And also, when you ask a question, you can do that. Let's say I'm delivering my speech. This is the distance, so I'm using. Another thing here we need to know, please do not go that away from the screen. Number one, audience might not be able to hear. Number two, you can't see my face that much. But if I come to this, if I maintain this distance, like 3 and a half feet, maybe this is ideal. So when you ask a question, even you can come closer to the screen. Let's say, when is the last time you hurt another person using your words? Please think about it. So I go back to my position. Just like that. And the other interesting thing is, like Mike did, we saw that coming to the left side, but closer to the screen. While staying on the left side, we can even go away from the screen purposely. And this is center. This is on my right hand side, but little far from the screen, but I can still come closer as well. So my dear friends, please just check which kind of positions you can use in your speech. And the next is Verity Price, the technique she used. She used, like, earlier she positioned her friend here, the rich friend, who is living the perfect life. So she did not look at the camera. She looked at the friend over there, that 3D friend. So she was talking to her, and she was just opening the fridge door. She was maintaining eye contact with her. That means we don't need to look at the camera all the time. If you are positioning any characters, if you are bringing any characters, and when you want to have a conversation with that person, you can do it. And she turns completely towards her right side and talk to that side as well. Like, I think there was a person over there, like this. Please watch those two speeches. Please watch those two speeches, and you will learn a lot. Because in Toastmasters meetings, my dear friends, we talk about not only verbal communication, non-verbal communication as well. So these two things. See, rather than saying these two things, I can say these two things. And here, if we can learn about these movements, right distance, right light level, right angle, right position, I'm sure you can score a little bit more in a contest, in the delivery part. And if you are a person like me who use a lot of online platforms in your professional world, if you are a speaker, presenter, teacher, I'm sure your audience will enjoy your presentations more. So this is what we wanted to share with you. And if you have any questions, of course, we can take some time to have some time for Q&A. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster, but I can stay like this if you guys have any questions. But let me go back to my seated position.
You can proceed. Ishan is having a question.
Ishani?
Yeah, Chamin, I was wondering that they are saying we shouldn't look away from the stage and we shouldn't point at the audience. So, in that second speech, she was doing both.
Yes.
Still valid?
So she was doing something we always ask not to do.
Yeah, even I also saw that she's turning her back to the camera, going around.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That is the thing. There are mainstreams. There are stereotypes. Rather than mainstream, stereotype is the word. Like we have just made some of the barriers, frames, and we can say we are inside the box. And we ask to divide the screen to 3 parts. We ask use 3 speeches. And we ask never park your hands. But what if I want to show that someone was nervous, and like if I want to imitate that person, I will have to do it. Why can't I use 2 speeches? Can't I use 1 speech? Why should I divide the stage into 3? Why can't I just divide it only 2? Therefore, my dear friends, please take risks. Because that's what both Micah and Verity Price told us. I completely agree with Ishani and Hemakant, because she just turned around, right? 360 degrees, and I have never seen it in a speech. And that's the thing. So it can be hit or miss. If the judges are very traditional, congratulations, yeah. Right? But if the judges are people who want to see not the carbon copies, but brand new, different, unique speakers, I think they will give you more marks. So personally, I think better to take those risks. If you feel like I have a purpose of looking away from the camera, and if I have a purpose of like if I'm imitating someone, I can do this. If I'm talking to a character, one of my characters, I can do this because there is a purpose. So my personal opinion is please go for them. Please go for them. I hope I answered Ishani's question.
Yes, take risks.
All right, happy to hear that.
And Chamin, I want to ask a question. I watched the runner-up's speech as well, and I was wondering. For me personally, I felt like that should have been the winning speech. But what do you think? His was very dramatic, and it was wonderfully projected. And so, what happened there? I felt like Verity's speech was a bit. Because her eye contact was in different places, that she lost our attention. But the second speaker, the one who came second place, his speech was very attention grabbing. What was the difference? Why do you think?
Sorry, I did not. I watched only the winning speech, and I did not watch the second one. But what we have seen sometimes in some contests, the person whom we want to win, never. Sometimes they don't win. But the thing is, sometimes now, when we are general viewers, we just focus on the delivery, or maybe we focus on the message only, maybe. But when you are a judge, you have the judging sheet with you. When you look at it, the language, and then maybe the structure, verbal, non-verbal communication, when you give marks, even when you are a judge for the same contest, if you were a judge, you would select the same person. But when we are the viewers, we just get carried away. Sometimes it happens sometimes. So unfortunately, I can't make any comments since I have not seen the second one. But yes, it happens, isn't it, most of the times? Sometimes, rather.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for the question, because tonight I will watch that speech. I
Please
really
do
want to
it.
watch it now.
Please do it. Absolutely amazing.
Sure. one device we can use if you're in your room, if the lighting level is little low, please search as ring light. This is, I think, Toastmaster Hingston is the person who introduced this in a session. Ring light, I'm using one over there. Ring light, it is like 3,000, 4,000 rupees. It helps us a lot. Once you just position it towards the front side or from a side, it gives a lot of light, because in my room, although there are 3 lights, doesn't help, they don't help that much. That's why I purchased a ring light. It helps me a lot. And the other thing is, if you are serious of your voice level, quality of the voice, please purchase what do you call this, clip-on mic, and I'm just using this one. And also I have got that clip-on one since I'm a teacher and I just conduct some of the training sessions. I thought it is a kind of good investment. So if you are a teacher, presenter, speaker, professional speaker, please make those investments. They will be really helpful.
Toastmaster Chamin, I have one question. Like how to, when you are looking at the camera, it's like sometimes it's like a dull thing. So how to get away with that? It's only the practice. So is there any specific techniques?
Hemakanta, for me now, I'm so used to it because all the classes of mine, they happen online every day. There are 2-3 classes, and on top of that, these education sessions are also there. So I'm kind of used to it now. Even now, although I want to look at your face, I'm not looking at your face because I'm looking at the camera. It's so hard sometimes, right? It's so hard, but to do the justice to the listeners, I will have to look at the camera. But once in a while, secretly, I can just look at my screen and just adjust the distance and angle and everything, and then look at the camera. It will come, for me, it came with the practice. And then you don't feel like looking away, you directly look at the camera.
So it will come with the practice, I think.
Yes.
And Toastmaster Uful also has a question. Toastmaster Uful.
Not a question, just an idea about that. For that question, what I normally do to avoid that problem is, because the camera of laptops and phones are very small and they are not visible, I put a red sticker or something and focus on that. Or else it's the laptop, I focus something parallel and something back there. So then I talk to that. Then the distractions goes off. So that's something that I do.
Right. Excellent. Yes, I think these kind of like personal techniques are there. And I think Toastmaster Daratna is also saying that, yes, we can close the screen in the sense, maybe we can just go to a different view. Different views are here. So you can change the view, and then it will be helpful if you go to the gallery view. Maybe it can be helpful. All right, then with that, I would like to pass the control back to Mr. Toastmaster. Hope you gain something from this, and please practice them, and most importantly, watch those champion speakers and learn the techniques, be aware of them, start using them in your next speech. All the very best, everyone. Back to you, sir.